Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Hi, I'm Speeder. Okay, so I keep filming these ones last minute, but it's Friday. I posted my books video today around midday, but this is the movies video, obviously, because I'm posting this on Keeper the Movies, and I'll be doing the review on Thor. I've been doing really long intros, and I'm probably still gonna keep doing that, mostly an accident. But I realized I should probably start saying what video I'm making at the very beginning, because I have this on an SD card, and I have a lot of videos filmed on here at the same, yeah, they're all on the same SD card that I film all of these with the same camera and everything. So the gaming ones are generally pretty easy to do, but the gaming ones and the book ones and the movie ones are often much more difficult, especially if I have multiple, because they all kind of look the same, and so I just have to kind of say, this is what I'm doing for this video, not just for your benefit, because, you know, you guys have the title, but for also my benefit, so that if I'm looking through here trying to figure out which video am I uploading, then I'll know, and don't have to, like, fast forward through the video, and it's a pain in the butt with this camera. Because all the computers I use to upload are, like, super slow. So it literally took an hour to upload, like, I think it was a 20-minute long video today. It was crazy. It never takes that long when I'm not using that computer. But, yeah. I ended up having to leave it to upload, because I had a chiropractor appointment around, I don't know, noon today. But anyways, so I just finished rewatching Thor, and I took notes on it and everything, and I had to do this pretty quick, and I'm gonna have to film this decently quickly, because I do still have homework, and it's getting pretty close to the end of the year, and even though I don't have such a large amount as I used to with missing work, I still do have some that does need to be turned in, so I'm going to have to do this fairly quickly. It doesn't have to be too quickly, just I don't do homework on Sundays, that's just not something I do, and I used to have a study hall, but I need more sleep, so it was first period 8 days, so, but yeah, I have all of tomorrow to do schoolwork, except for when I'm uploading this. Even then, I can still probably do stuff. But anyways, yeah. So this video should be posted as the first video I made in May of 2021, which is cool, I guess. On the 12th of May, I will be making videos for, let's see, 7 months now, which, goodness gracious, that sounds weird. 7 months? Wait, seriously? November to December to January, February to March to April to May. I guess it's only 6 months. 6 months on May 12th. I've been making videos for 6 months. Which is pretty good, I must say. I mean, it's not like 8 years or anything, but it's about half a year, so. Because I made my first video on November 12th, 2020. My intro video for the Keeper the Books channel. But anyways, on to the review. So I have found it easier to do these reviews if I don't make a script. Honestly, I don't even think I have to really rewatch the movies. I just kind of want to, because, you know, I love most of them. But some of them I actually do need to rewatch to be able to get a fresh take on them. Some of them, all of the ones that I've done so far, except for The Incredible Hulk, I've watched now 3 times. Because I had started to rewatch the MCU, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. So that is what I did. That is what I'm doing. So I got about halfway through Captain America the Winter Soldier. when I decided to do this. So, probably I'm going to count Captain America and the Winter Soldier as watched twice. It was more than halfway, so yeah. So after Captain America and the Winter Soldier, I believe the one after that is Guardians of the Galaxy. By that point, I'll have only watched stuff once before. Except for Spider-Man Far From Home and Avengers Age of Ultron. Spider-Man Far From Home I rewatched with my brother. And Avengers Age of Ultron I rewatched with my sister, who had never seen it before. Which is pretty cool. So, those ones, yeah, I have rewatched. But most of them I've only seen once. And so, even though it's only been a few months since I watched them all for the first time, it still needs a bit of a refresh sometimes. Math. Sorry, code word. Anyways, that's my mother. Anyways, so I rewatched Thor, and I have not written a script, but I have written down, in this notebook, the notes on the movie for reference when making this video, plus each of the scores that each of them got. That the movie got in general, right? Because I do give an overall score, plus subsection scores, and the subsection scores all add up to the score that the movie gets. I believe I've given out some pretty bad ones for, I believe Incredible Hulk got, I think, a 19 out of 45. I don't remember exactly what Iron Man 2 got. Actually, I can check right now. That was the other one with this notebook. Give it a 26 out of 45. I think Iron Man 1 got a 33 out of 45, actually, as that remains one of my favorite Marvel films. Not one of my, like, favorite, but it's up there. And honestly, so is this one. It's not, like, super up there, just like Iron Man 1 isn't super up there. But it is pretty high up. I did really enjoy this my first time through, and honestly, I enjoyed it quite a bit my second time through as well. And my third time through, which is now. Honestly, normally I'm someone that'll rewatch films like so many times and never get bored of them. I feel like that's a little bit less lately, but still, it's fun to rewatch them, even though it's only been a few months. Okay, so if you have not seen one of these review videos before, first of all, I should warn you that this video will contain spoilers for Thor, as well as probably some spoilers for the rest of the MCU. I'll probably reference a part from Infinity War, as I usually do, that same reference in each video. However, I want to start trying my best to give warnings that I'm spoiling things for other films before I do. If I do accidentally spoil something for you, I'm very sorry. But it is best that you either watch out for those warnings or just watch all of the MCU, except for the last few episodes of Captain America and the Winter Soldier, which I still have not seen, and should probably get around to watching, but honestly, that one kind of bores me. But I don't know, maybe it gets better. I think I'm on episode 4. I think it's called Power Broker. I'm not sure what episode is it. It's either episode 3 or episode 4. But anyways, so, yeah. There are spoilers for this movie. Obviously, it's not a spoiler-free review. However, like I said, there might be spoilers for other films in the MCU, and I will try to give warnings for those spoilers. And basically the gist of this is I'm going to be going over, let's see, 9 sections. I saw something on the corner of my eye. Goodness, I hate this basement. Okay, but yeah, there are 9 sections that I go over, and it's basically an overall judgment of the film with these 9 categories. There are other things that that go into it, like visuals, acting, stuff like that. But these are like the 9 things that I initially thought that would be good. So I'm not going to add in those other things when I've already done several other reviews in different ways, especially because all of these reviews are going to interconnect in the end, where I will make one video where I will use all of the ratings that I have given each of the films and rank them by their ratings. So these all do connect together, which is why I'm not going to change anything, because I want all the ratings to be the same. Well, with the same challenges of what they're being rated on, basically. And those 9 things are story, action, the main character of the film. This is for solo films, not team-up films. The villain, character arcs, humor, yes moments, which is basically moments that give you goosebumps or really just like wow, kind of like wow moments rather than just yes moments. It's just what came to my mind. Death scenes, which are important to me, because I think a movie that has a good death scene is really going to be more impactful, and I think it's good. Not the death part, but the emotion that is conducted into the film with a good death scene. Just kind of like spoilers for Infinity War with all the death scenes that were in there. Okay, spoilers out. Anyways, and the last one is side characters. So any other characters in the film that are not the main character. Okay, so let's start with the story of this film. I think that this film had actually a really good story in it. I think that, well, the story basically overall in this film is you have this guy, Thor, who's super powerful. He's basically a god. He's Thor, right? And he's about to be crowned king of Asgard when some evil creatures known as frost giants break into Asgard and try to steal back this thing that is the source of their power that was taken from them years ago after they tried to, I don't remember exactly what they were trying to do, but they were trying to do something that was awful. They went to Earth. I think they tried to kill a lot of people, possibly conquer Earth, I'm not sure. But Asgard's armies stopped them thousands of years before and took the source of their power back to Asgard. And these frost giants try to steal this power back. And, well, one second. Okay. So, this big kind of magical machine-ish kind of thing called Destroyer takes these guys out. But nevertheless, Thor is extremely angry because he's very arrogant, but also kind of battle-hungry, you could say. And so he disobeys his father and goes with, I think her name is Lady Sith? No, not Lady Sith. Lady Sith, something like that, and the Warriors 3 to a place, well, to Jotunheim, which is where the Frost Giants are from, and as well with his brother Loki, who seems reluctant to go there. And keep in mind that Loki is Thor's brother. Anyways, so they go to Jotunheim. There's a battle there. Odin gets really mad when he found out what happened, and he came to Jotunheim to stop them. He repaired things mostly with the frost giants, not completely, not at this point at least. And Thor is banished and stripped of his power, and there's an enchantment put on his hammer. It's like, so whoever wields this hammer, if he be worthy, he should possess the power of Thor. So basically, he's saying, hey, if you're worthy of this hammer, you can wield it. Yeah. So nobody can lift the hammer now that is not worthy. What being worthy is still kind of unclear. There are a lot of theories out there, I know, as to what exactly being worthy is. And I know there was some person, I don't remember who it was, who did a video about, it was called, I think, Was Cap Always Worthy? Sorry. Spoiler for Endgame. The name of the video was Cap Always Worthy? See, this is what I mean when I say screw up in that department of non-spoilers. Okay. But, yeah, so Thor's cast out to Earth, stripped of his power, and for the majority of the film, Thor is on Earth, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, and he's having, like, this romance with this girl named Jane Foster, and it's a nice story because, like, he's off his world, he's in this new, strange environment that doesn't really make sense to him all the time. I mean, it does kind of, but, like, some things just, they confuse him, and it makes a good story, I think. It's not a perfect story. I mean, there are ways that it could have been done better, I think. I think if they had put, I don't really know, there's something missing there. It's pretty much perfect. I love the story in this film. But there is something that just a little bit that's missing. But man, it's so good. I love the story for it. So I'm going to give the story a 4 out of 5 rating. Next, you have action. Now, this film has really good action, in my opinion. You have, let's see, let's go to my notes. So the first action is very early on with a bit of a intro scene to kind of the whole gist of the movie. It's not like the intro scene, but it's one of them, kind of one of the 2 or 3 intro scenes to the movie. And basically they're just depicting the war with Asgard and Jotunheim on Earth. Then there's also okay, here's one of my favorite action sequences in the film, is when Thor goes and attacks Jotunheim after they came to Asgard to try and steal the source of their power. And I really like that action sequence. I think it's really good. I think it was pretty well done. And then when Thor comes to this makeshift shield facility, which is built around his hammer, I think that was a pretty good action sequence as well. Also, I like how they included the introduction of Barton, Agent Barton, Clint. Because in spoilers for Iron Man 2 here. Okay. In Iron Man 2, they introduced one of the 6 original Avengers, which was Black Widow. And in this film, they introduced Clint Barton, who is also one of the original 6 Avengers, along with Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, Black Widow, and Captain America. Yeah, so I like how they slipped in that introduction of Barton, of Clint. Yeah, let's just go with Barton or Clint. I don't know. But yeah, it's the introduction of Clint, which I think is Hawkeye, which I think is pretty cool that they included that in there. And it was a pretty good introduction of him. I liked that. But yeah, that is one of the action sequences. And then near the end of the film, there's the fight against the Destroyer, which was sent by Loki to kill Thor. By the way, Loki is the villain of this film. And many films to come. Or, not really many films to come. I think 1. Maybe 2. If films to come. Anyways, probably mostly just one, but you know, he's kind of an on and off villain all the time, pretty much. But yeah, there's the attack against the destroyer, and then there's like pretty much the whole last part of the film, which is when Thor kind of fights Loki and he destroys the Bifrost and all that. I have a headache. Small one, but seriously, I hope I'm not getting sick. That would be really bad. Okay. Yeah, I might be getting sick because I have like a small headache, coughing. I'm really tired for some reason. I really hope I'm not sick because that would not be good. Because I still have end of year testing. I'm so close to finishing the science test, but I'm like just barely starting the math test. Yeah. This is not good. Okay. Hope I'm not sick. Let's move on. But yeah. Basically the whole film it has a lot of action in it, but it's not like a super large amount of action, which I think is good. There's a good balance of it. I mean, I feel like there could be a little bit more action in this film, and just because you have like this kind of war-hungry guy, I would almost say child, Thor, and I mean, yeah, his development through the film is great. I mean, just it seems like it would be better if there was just a tad bit more action near the beginning of the film to really display more of Thor's war hungriness. Obviously, there is a whole action sequence dedicated to that. I don't know. I just feel like it's missing something. This film just has one continuous thing through most everything. That's just like, I feel like this is missing something. So, therefore, I'm giving action another 4 out of 5. Let's move on to the main character. I feel like for most of this film, this is one of the weak points, is the main character. I love Thor, he's awesome, but like, and I feel like he changes so much just throughout the course of even just this film, but throughout the whole MCU. But, oh gosh, why do I have a freaking headache? Bruh. Okay. I've had a lot of those lately. But anyways, it just, I mean, I love Thor, but he's not in this film and Thor: The Dark World. For the first 2 of his films, he doesn't really strike me as one of the best characters. I mean, I love him, but he just, even in Avengers and stuff, he just, even later on in the MCU, like in Endgame, I mean, in Thor Ragnarok and Infinity War, he's great. I'm trying not to give spoilers on this, but like overall, in his first 2 films, and like the first 3 films that he appears in, they just they don't really show him as a great, amazing character. So I'm gonna give him a 3 out of 5, which basically means this is decent. I mean, it could be worse, but it could be a lot better. It could be a lot worse, it could be a lot better. It's kind of in the middle, you know, just like 3 is. Anyways, so yeah, 3 out of 5. And then you have my favorite part of this particular film, the villain. Now, technically, the Frost Giants are like sub-villains, but they're not really full villains, because, I mean, technically the actions that led them to be kind of the villains of this film were influenced by the main villain, plus they were also kind of victims, for some parts of it, and also, you know, they wanted revenge. I mean, the Asgardians had good reason for putting them down as well, but, I mean, for a lot of the film, it almost seems like they were kind of victims. So, they weren't really villains, even though they were, like, kind of sub-villains. But the real villain of this film, none other than Thor's brother, Loki. Loki is adopted, although he does not know that for many years. But he finds that out in this film, and that he is actually a frost giant. But Loki, he's honestly tied for my favorite villain in the entire MCU, tied with this one guy, Thanos. To those of you who haven't seen the rest of the MCU, I won't give any more details than that. But him and Thanos, I think, are my two favorite villains in the MCU, and I can't choose between them. They're both such amazing villains. But today we're talking about Loki. Loki is honestly one of the most kind of complex characters in the entire MCU. I mean, he has so many different motivations, and he just, I don't know what it is. His character is just, he just has so many motivations. He's not one-dimensional. He has so many sides of himself. One moment he's a hero, then he's a villain, and then he's a hero again. It's a constant cycle. And I'm really excited for his new TV show, which is coming out this year. Oh crap, my filming time is like super low because I did not delete that last video that I uploaded. Crap, I'm gonna have to wrap this up pretty quick because I have 9 minutes left of space on this SD card. Anyways, goodness gracious. So, basically, I love the villain in this film. He's super complex, and honestly, like I said, he's one of my favorite villains in the entire MCU, tied for first. So I'm going to give him a 5 out of 5 rating for the villain in this film. Next, you have the character arcs in this film. This film is one of the individual films that I think one of the films that, in and of itself, has a large character arc for the main character. I mean, I'm not talking about, like, full-on transformation like Steve Rogers, but Thor, he goes through kind of a mental transformation in this one. I mean, so do so many other heroes, but, like, in just one singular film. I mean, Tony Stark, it took him so long to really fully mentally change, to have his moment near the end of the MCU. But Thor, he kind of, I mean, to become worthy of his hammer by the end of the film, he kind of had to change. And he did. I think he did change quite a lot in this film. I mean, he didn't change completely. He's still himself. But he's also not. He was changed by his experiences on Earth, whether it be being in a new environment, dealing with the loss of his father that wasn't really the loss of his father, and honestly, Jane kind of changed him as well. So he had a very large character arc to go from war-hungry, kind of hooligan, you could say. Not really hooligan, but he's kind of war-hungry, right? To someone that could be worthy of Mjolnir. So, yeah. Hope I said that right. Mjolnir. Okay. So I gave character arcs a 4 out of 5. 7 minutes. 7.5, yeah. Okay. Then you have humor. Initially, when the first 2 times I watched this film, I loved all the humor in it. But the third time, it just, I realized when I was taking notes on it that while the humor is great, there isn't a lot of it. I mean, it's actually a film that doesn't have a lot of humor in it. I mean, it does have, there's the whole, he's stuck on an unfamiliar planet, and so there's a lot of humorous things that are going to happen. I mean, there is a decent amount of humor in this film, but I feel like I would have enjoyed the humor more if there was, more of it. Because there are films like Spider-Man Homecoming, I won't give details, or Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2, that have a ton of humor. Even Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Hate Guardians of the Galaxy 2, by the way. Even Spider-Man Far From Home, even less so, but still. But I feel like this film, along with kind of like Captain America: Captain America: The First Avenger, these ones, they don't strike me as having a ton of humor. The humor that it does have is great. I love it. But yeah, so I'm gonna give humor a 3 out of 5 on this one. I really gotta hurry this up. Okay. Then you have yes moments. There is one clear yes moment in this film, and that is when Thor becomes worthy of Mjolnir and destroys the Destroyer. And I loved this scene. Honestly, I think the first time I watched it gave me goosebumps, which was the first time that this had happened. No, actually not the first, wait. Yeah, not the first time, because I had watched... No, wait, I think this was still the first time I watched it, that I had gotten actual goosebumps from watching a Marvel film. Maybe I had gotten some in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, because that was actually the first MCU film that I watched. But this was kind of my first experience with, like, the true yes moments in the MCU. So that one's kind of stuck with me, but that being one of the only ones, and the only one that really stuck with me, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5, because I really liked this moment, and it did give me goosebumps, but it had there weren't so many as would be appreciated for yes moments, so it's going to give it a 3 out of 5. Then you have death scenes. This film is, I'm pretty sure, lacking in actual death scenes, almost completely it is. I mean, technically, there were falsified death scenes. There was Loki's death scene. He's not actually dead, which is proven, like, in the end credit scene. And technically, Odin partially died. I mean, he went in his own Odin sleep, which was kind of a death. So seeing there is a lack of death scenes, but the Loki death scene, for the short time it lasted, was slightly impactful. I feel like it would have been more impactful if he had been gone permanently. So I give it a 2 out of 5 on death scenes. And then you have side characters. This film has a lot of good side characters. Let's see, you have Lady Something and the Warriors 3. You got Jane, you have Eric Selvig, you got Darcy, you have Agent Coulson, you have Barton. In the end credit scene, you have Nick Fury, and you got the Stan Lee cameo, with him driving a truck, trying to get Mjolnir out of the ground, and failing. I liked that one. Eventually, I kind of want to do a Stan Lee cameo ranking. I think that would be fun. That one was kind of inspired by Sean Chandler Talks About. Super good channel. You should go check him out, by the way, if you enjoy these kinds of videos. I never actually watched the video on that, but I saw the title and was like, oh, that could be interesting. But anyways, I have like 4 minutes left. But side characters, overall, I really like them. I like most of the side characters in here. So I'm going to give side characters 4 out of 5. So overall, this film did get a 32 out of 45, if I counted correctly. Let me double check. Okay, I'm pretty sure I counted correctly. So this film gets a 32 out of 45, which I'm pretty sure is the second best film I've done so far. I believe that Iron Man 1 got a 33 out of 45, but I'd have to double check on that, because I did not have the papers with me for that one. Those are upstairs in my room. But I will see you guys next time. Bye.